Thank you very, very much for having me. As Colleen had alluded to, my name is Goff, and I started my agency in 2003, and that was called Get You Wired. It became a multi-million dollar success, won top company culture from Entrepreneur Magazine in 2015, partner of the year for I think 3 or 4 years in a row. I currently write for Forbes magazine. I'm also on Forbes Coaching Council. And one of the ones I was really happy about is what's called Elite Forum. And that's a very big deal. It's kind of like, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like winning the Oscar. Out of the 200,000 small businesses using Keep or Infusionsoft, they picked the top three out of all of those on how well they're running their business, and they get to become a finalist in that. And it's a very, very prestigious thing. So very, very honored to have that. And of course, the thing I'm most proud of, and I don't have a picture on the screen here normally, I'm a single dad of a wonderful, wonderful 13-year-old little girl. And as I think Brad or Colleen said earlier, we're going to go camping this weekend. So we're super excited about that for fall break. And I'm not sure about the rest of you guys and girls. Before we get started into the 3 lead source crushing it, has anything changed in your life in the past 2 years? I'm not sure, if you've noticed or not, but the world has dramatically changed, and in a big way. So, for example, I didn't even know what the hell day it was there for, I think, about a year. Okay, I think it was a good at least 12 or 18 months that I thought Sunday was like Wednesday and Wednesday was like Friday and Friday might have been Thursday. I didn't know. I had no idea. It was the craziest thing ever. We all became one with Mother Nature, right? Camping, hiking, boats, picnics, walks, state parks, national parks. A lot of us fell in love with Mother Nature again, and I personally think that is a really, really, really good thing. Live events, the most common ways that a lot of agencies get their leads is to attend live events and, networking events, conferences, business meetups, things like that. They're coming back, and I sure did miss them for the last 18 months. And I know a lot of you digital nomads out there missed them as well. So I'm looking forward to those coming back. Even though a lot of things have changed, a lot of things did not change as well, which brings me back to the 3 lead sources crushing it right now. The 3 lead sources that I'm going to show you today are basically used by successful companies everywhere and have been used by successful companies pretty much forever, with the exception of one of them. One of them is a newer platform, but the other 2 have been used by pretty much every successful business on the planet for the past, as long as businesses have been in operation. I don't know why other coaches do not coach on these topics and on these tactics. I think that they fall in love with the platform or the shiny object and all that fun stuff. Personally, I fall in love with results and quality of life. That's why I'm going to focus on these 3 today, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, again, my agency I built on the backbone of these 3. Hundreds of my students have also built their agencies on the backbone of these 3. This is not some kind of willy-nilly idea that I dreamed up in a basement last weekend to try to make myself sound smart. These have all been tested over the course of the last 20 years to be proven 100% effective, as long as you put in the time to get them set up. Okay. They work all of the time, no matter what. They work in any economy. These lead sources definitely will take some time to get set up and running, but once they're in place, they will provide your agency with guaranteed leads pretty much indefinitely going into the future. I also want to kind of put a little bit of an asterisk there, asterisk saying it's best to run all of them simultaneously. They feed off of and support each other. You can run them individually, but I recommend running them simultaneously, okay? Lead source number 1. This is the one that I personally use to build my agency and to build my coaching business. Give me one second, let me move this over here. And to build what I used to build my agency. And then the first thing I did whenever I was building my coaching business was to get this established. I immediately began to reach out to some of my contacts. I have a spreadsheet that I use with my students on how to determine the best referral partners, and that is lead source number 1. I will go through that spreadsheet, and I'll also give you a few pointers on how to get referral partners in place for your agency. As with the majority of processes, establishing a lead source and others have a beginning, but it does not have an end. And if you're doing it correctly, you'll never want it to end, because it's providing the life-giving leads all businesses require, okay? Referral partners are the bedrock of successful companies more often than not, 7, 8, 9 times out of 10. Whether it be a relationship with your local banker to send you deals or a keynote speech at Traffic and Conversion, the best way to establish a steady flow of leads that close at a very high ratio is to establish long-lasting relationships with people who market to, sell to, or service your target audience. I have a few tips I'm going to share about this in my presentation today and a spreadsheet I work through with my students to determine the best referral partners for their agency. Lead source number 2 is what's called the slow burn or brand awareness or harvest campaign. This campaign is how you harvest new prospects consistently. Okay, so a little bit every single day. You have to have a cost-effective way to harvest new opportunities that do not require you to go to live events or pay huge advertising fees to get leads. This one can be done on the majority of the larger platforms, like Google, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. It will look a little bit different on each platform, but the overall goal is to keep your brand in front of your target audience. The slow burn campaign, which is kind of what we're talking about, today's example I'm going to show you is going to be in the Facebook platform, and I'll show you how in the past 30 days we have harvested 44 opportunities, and they are now going through my automated nurture sequences. Lead source number 3 is lead prospecting. Without fail, at a minimum, 90% of you watching this presentation today or in the future have all the leads that you would ever need. You have plenty of them already in your possession. You see, if you know where to look and are not afraid to put in the work, you can mine those leads out of your existing relationships. You just have to know where to look. I'm going to give you a few tips on where to look today to get that process started. Let's get started with a quick guide on referral partners. First, what I'd like to do is I'd like to define what a referral partner is. There are a lot of definitions floating around, and for the purposes of this presentation, I wanted to make sure we're all using the same definition. When I'm coaching my students, there are 3 different types of promotional relationships that you can have. First one is called affiliate marketing. The second one is called referral partners. And the third one are strategic relationships or strategic partners. Affiliate marketing is not something I'm a huge fan of, in my opinion. And in most cases, this is all about the money. No long-term relationships or really no brand loyalty at all. This is typically what you see in what I call the info space or the joint venture space. And again, there's nothing wrong with it for what they're doing in that space. Now, for an agency, I feel like there needs to be more of a relationship there behind the brands. I'm supporting Vendasta's brand. They're going to support my brand by helping me and getting me in front of the Conquer local community like today. This is how this works. Number 2, referral partners. This is a much stronger relationship. You typically know the owners of the referral partners. Like you get to know the owners of the company. They're vetted. And most importantly, you have common interest and brand alignment. These relationships start out small and blossom into income-producing relationships that can last years or even decades. There's no real legal agreement in most cases. It is a mutually beneficial relationship that both parties put their brand reputation on the line for. They typically serve the exact same target audience with very little to no competitive overlapping. Now, strategic partners, this one typically involves legal agreements and more time/money resource commitments. One example is a partner of yours has an amazing product idea, can produce it, and is looking for someone to come in and build up the sales and marketing aspect of selling their product. This typically will be a multi-year legal agreement with exclusivity, payout terms, legal representation guidelines, and so on. This is not typically something you see a lot in the digital agency space. Most relationships remain at the affiliate or referral partner level for digital agencies. Over the years, when I founded my agency in 2003, built that into what most people would consider to be a very successful agency. It became the world's largest Infusionsoft, now Keep, implementation agency on the planet. And so we dominated again, lead consultant for the country of Fiji, and worked with over 3,000 business owners over there. And since selling that business in 2016, I've worked with thousands of agencies. And out of all of that experience, I have narrowed it down into a top 8 types of potential referral partners. Again, I have by the way, if you're interested in seeing this spreadsheet, just kind of come over on Facebook and friend me on Facebook and send me a message and say, hey, yo, I'd like to get that, I'd like to get that referral partner spreadsheet, and I have no problem sharing that with everyone, or maybe just get in my Facebook group over there. We can show you that in a second, and I'll get that over to you. Those 8 types are trade associations, management companies, podcast, bloggers, and influencers, your magazines or print publications. That can be any newsletters, things along those lines, live or virtual events or promoters. Number 6 is partnerships, like vendor opportunities or service providers. Number 7 are coaches and consultants, just like me. And number 8 will be print media companies. That is different than magazines and print publications. Print media will be more along like print companies, and they're doing like swag stuff, like they're doing stress balls and things along those lines. Okay. So those are the 8 types, and those 8 types, once you get those entrenched, will definitely feed your agency for a long time. Now, once you get your list narrowed down, you'll need to think through what you're going to offer them of value to entice them to promote your brand. I hear all the time, why would they promote me? I don't have anything for them, and I can't afford to pay them $10,000 to do this. Well, the first thing you want to understand is that the overwhelming majority of referral partners, they don't care if you pay them. They will promote your brand for free. They are not expecting to get paid at all, but it must be a win-win situation for both of you. So at first, start small. Partner to record a podcast. Offer to write a blog to get started. Work with them on a few smaller projects. And if all goes well, step it up and ask them to promote a webinar with you providing all of the content and the platform for the webinar. Remember, this is a huge value add to them. Everyone knows that content is king when it comes to ranking, and everyone wants more content, and everyone is looking for content to be able to kind of indoctrinate their prospects to their brand. So if you get out there and offer to create the content for them to use in their materials to promote you, providing value to their base, that is a win-win. And you'll also pick up a lot of new clients in the process. But I want to caution you on one thing. So one of the pieces of advice I give my coaching students, that this is a long-term solution that once it is in place, will feed you and your agency for years to come. I found out a long time ago, anything worth having is worth investing in. I say that to set the proper expectation levels. In my experience, you'll have to kiss a few frogs before you can find the prince of referral partners for your agency. The good news is that even if the referral partner does not stick around or simply cannot drive leads, you will still get great backlinks, exposure, and an industry contact in your phone. Very rarely has it ever been a total waste of time. The simple act of calling on potential referral partners drives leads into your agency 9 out of 10 times. So the simple act of calling on referral partners 9 out of 10 times will generate actual tangible leads looking to spend money with your agency in the next 30 days. Not only will it do that, it will also open up the doors to much larger opportunities. So, as you can imagine, if you spend your time harvesting and growing the relationships of referral partners, it's going to help you not only get leads now, but it's also going to help you get a lot of cheap leads going forward. Therefore, you're building a foundation that you can build a multiple 7-figure agency on. As I mentioned, not all referral partners are created equally, and they definitely don't perform equally. Okay. So you will need to establish a partner grading system. Very, very, very simple. You know, how many leads they drive, how many sales were made, any value add like backlinks, industry contacts, blog posts, things along those lines We found just a very simple way to do it is just kind of put together about 4 or 5, again, leads, registered, attended, sold, basic metrics at first will definitely help, but you do need to have a basic grading system. Therefore, you can keep up with who you want to go back to the following year to do another promotion. We found a good rhythm to be one referral partner promotion every 2 months to get started. And then you can pick up the pace as you bring on more partners, you develop the actual promotional assets, and of course, as you're growing in revenue. So that kind of wraps up the referral partners. Now I'm going to get into number 2, the lead source number 2. That's what we call the slow burn. This campaign is more of what's called a brand awareness or what's called top of mind type campaign. For those of you out there who are not 100% certain on what either one of those are, brand awareness or top of mind, basically what it is kind of like a commercial. Okay. So those are just always out there on the radio waves to kind of help get an imprint of your brand, whether it be the Super Bowl ad, whether it be a Facebook ad, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, I don't care where it is. The point is it's typically very cheap to get a lot of impressions, but they know it's not going to be a huge conversion, but it's going to get your brand in front of your audience all over the place. It is intended to keep your brands and services in your prospects' visual purview as often as possible. It is intended to imprint your brand on your target audience's long-term memory. So whenever they are ready to make a buying decision, they look up and to the left and they recall your name or your brand and then pick up the phone or go to Facebook Messenger or shoot you a message asking for a proposal. So let me get into how this works. First, you have to create short, snappy videos. This is also very important when you need to have your target audience pretty defined. It's better. This campaign is going to be much more efficient if you have a precise target audience. Out of that target audience, what you'll need to do is you'll need to isolate 4 to 5 pain points. And let me just give you a couple of examples. This is one of the videos, okay, that we did for, this is actually one of my students' videos. We're going to be turning this campaign on. So if you're into golf and you like PGA golf, or if you've liked anything on Facebook that has anything to do with golf, there's a damn good chance you're going to see this commercial right here over the next 30 to 60 days. So let me show you what this looks like.
We can't hear it. I don't know if there was supposed to be sound.
Yeah, it's coming through my AirPods right now. So we'll do the visuals and we'll get the sound later. But it does. Okay. It's just some high impact music. It's not really saying anything. It's all about the visuals. Okay. So
got it.
When you select share a screen, there's a little box that you can check off that says allow the audio to pass through.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Let's take a look, see if I can do that. Allow. Where did you say that now?
Stop sharing your screen real quick.
Uh-huh.
Go back and share your screen.
Uh-huh.
And you see in the bottom of that window that pops up.
Yeah, share sound. Hey. Colleen, how come you didn't know that? Gee whiz. All right, so here we go.
Oh, Robert Davis saves the day. Of course he
I'm telling you, man, how did I not know that?
Nice to know I'm not the only one to give you a hard time, Colleen.
I'm an easy target.
All right, can you hear it now? And again, I'm not going to waste everybody's time here. I have one other example. Let me show you this one. Okay, so this is actually, and could y'all actually hear the music on that one this time? Very cool. Because okay, that's, hey, thanks whoever did that. I want to know who did that so I can send them a thank you letter. That was super cool. So, okay, so I want to point out a couple of things here. Okay, so again, having your target audience defined is very big deal. Okay, and yeah, we're being interactive. So let me turn my video back on here. So, all right, so whenever you're doing this is how you put these videos together that's so important. Okay, understand that Facebook ads are becoming more and more expensive. We all know that. YouTube, all of them are to do video, right? Okay, so what you have to do is what's called through play. And it's important that in the first 2 frames, you define your target audience and you define the pain point. So when you watch this next video in the first 2 frames, think about that. Okay, so as you can see, these are short, catchy little ads, and they can. Sorry about that. Let me here. There we go. Okay, so these are short, catchy little ads. There's absolutely nothing super special about them at all. Okay, but let me show you what this has done. For the past 28 days, these are the actual numbers. I literally just pulled these out of my Facebook ad platform. I spent $464.91. I got 351 video through plays, which is kind of great. That's not too bad. And it cost $1.32 per action. And to be honest, that's kind of high. A lot of times you can get that down to about, I've actually seen it as low as 3 pennies per through play. Okay. But to get a quality through play, and a through play is 15 seconds or more. Okay. It typically costs somewhere between the 50 cents up to about the $1.20 kind of range. Okay. But the question is how do those through plays convert into paying customers, right? That's what we're all here to get. Okay. So how that works is this. On this slide, you'll see the learn more button, the little first red arrow right over here. Okay. It's pointing to that. And the raw leads that are driven in right here, 44 of them. Okay. As a result of the through play campaign. It's very simple. Not only am I building my marketing capabilities to those 351 people, those through play ads, 44 of them clicked the learn more button and opted in, and they're now going through my automated nurturing campaigns. So I put 44 leads in there for $494, and I can guarantee you that one of those leads will convert over the next 30 to 60 days, and I will make my money back 2, 3, 4, 5 fold. Not to mention the other 43 people that are in there that will convert over time over the next 6 months. Sorry about that. I've had a little bit of a head cold here, so I apologize about that. Let me get a halls in my mouth. Okay. All right. Now, with the 351 that you're seeing on the previous screen, you can go retarget them with special offers. It's just like an email list. Your webinars, your blogs, your Facebook groups, everything, you can go back to the well on those, just like your email list. Now, we actually got 44 of those to put their email list into my CRM. They're going through the automated sequences right now, but I still got the other 306 basically that I can go to for remarketing. Very effective, very, very, very effective. Now, here's one example. Okay, using my slow burn, everything okay? I thought I heard something. Using my slow burn campaign and the lead source the next lead source that I showed you, that I'm about to show you, we drove over 30 leads that led to 23 opportunities and 4 closed deals in 28 days. Chris was the name of the agency. I'm sorry, Chris was the owner's name of the agency, Launch Digital, out of Johannesburg, South Africa. He was so happy with the results, he left me this amazing testimonial. I thought it was really, really cool. I've been running an agency for 6 years. I came to Lee as I know he helps agency owners scale and grow their agency. But Murphy's Law, as I committed to his agency roadmap program, they lost a few key clients due to some bad hiring decisions he had made previously before coming on. He basically wasn't ready to scale. Now, I needed to desperately stop the ship from sinking. So we paused my coaching program, which is called the Agency Success Roadmap Program. And I put together a plan of action to fill his pipeline to get some sales through the door. Almost immediately after putting the plan in place, I was having sales calls with prospective clients. Weeks after the plan, our pipeline was full. Not only did Lee help with getting our sales back on track, but he learned a ton of other gold nuggets, which I implemented immediately into his business and have proven invaluable. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Chris. I love to see success out there. So those are the two. The first two are referral partners and what's called the slow burn campaign. Number 3, Lead prospecting. And now I know a lot of you have heard of this one before. Okay. And I'm keeping it in here because it works. Okay. You already have the leads. That's right. 9 out of 10 of you in here have the leads that you need already. You're just not harvesting them like effectively and regularly. The overwhelming majority of agencies simply do not stay in contact with their prospects that they earned through their, whether it be careers or going to live events and shoeboxes and everything else. They're going to be in Gmail, Outlook, Mac Mail, again, the shoebox full of business cards, spreadsheets. They're going to be all over the place. If you harvest and compile all of those records, clean them up, and import them into a CRM with marketing automation, you now have a platform set up and ready to drive leads consistently. Now, let me caution you, when you harvest all of these prospects and you put them into a CRM, you must do a warm-up campaign, giving them the option to get off of your list. You ask them 2 or 3 times to say, hey, listen, you know what? I don't want to receive information from you or whatever it is, but make sure you give them the opportunity to get off there. Don't be, it's illegal. Don't do it. Okay. Just you can send them 1 to 2 nice emails asking them to stay on or get off your list. And you should be fine going forward, but don't just start cold emailing everything out there. To your personal contacts, right? Because these are people that you have met, so you don't want to have that kind of reputation out there. So not only can you start to remain top of mind by putting them into your marketing automation CRM, you can upload that list into Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's also coming down the pipe for Google. I'm not sure I don't know if Twitter's going to be doing it or not, but basically the major platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Google are all going to, 3 of them already do it. These 3 on the screen here will allow you to upload your contact database and market directly to them. That is a game changer. So now not only can you do it through your CRM with your marketing automation, you can hit them on the social media platforms utilizing what's called the multi-touch marketing channels. You can call 20 to 30 people a month just to see how they're doing. You can schedule webinars based upon their pain points. The people who register for that webinar obviously have a pain point in that area. And so whenever you are sending out these emails from your CRM, okay, you invite them into a webinar. You're also uploading that list to these social media platforms, running ads to invite them into the webinar. So now you're hitting them on multiple platforms to come into a webinar. If they register for a webinar because it says top 5 tips to fix your SEO today, well, it's not rocket science to understand that they're probably going to be interested in an SEO type product. So call them and offer them a solution around the SEO. The opportunities are literally endless. Here's one example from an agency out of Los Angeles. I have a huge coaching student out there. Look at how many leads they harvested out of their already existing database in the past 30 days. This is real data. I pulled this out of their system. Wait, where did it go? Here we go. I pulled this information out of their system, right? Wait, I think it's yesterday. It might have been yesterday. I want to say it comes out to about 70 something leads. I'd have to do the math on it. 84 leads. Okay. In the past 30 days, simply by looking through their existing contacts, they found 84 leads. They're calling all of them, offering a free audit. And I promise you, they will close at a minimum of 2 or 3 website projects ranging from 14. I got some noise here. Let's see here. Okay, all right. Ranging between $14,000. The low end website for them was about $14,000, going up to about $25,000 for each website project. As they did, all they did is comb through their existing contact records and remain top of mind. And again, you can take this, you schedule those webinars based upon their pain points. The opportunities are absolutely endless. Once you get all the data, all your prospect data, you compile it, and now you're going to have a list of 200, 2,000, 20,000, depending on how big your network is. That is where you start. Okay. Then again, you go do the video through play ads and all of those fun things. In closing, it is important to understand. Let's see here. Okay. In closing, it is important to understand that all of these lead sources work best when you run them in tandem. This is all part of a closed loop sales and marketing system that I also provide as a done for you service for my coaching students. It is best to line up referral partner promotions, run the slow burn Facebook campaign, and email your list all at the same time. All lead sources should be led by a promotional calendar that determines what content is going out the door. And this is what a promotional calendar looks like. The content should support each other, meaning if you're running a referral partner promotion about lead magnets, then you should attempt to have your email marketing, slow burn, and partner promotions in alignment. Keep in mind, sometimes the content will not align, and that's okay, but you should attempt to make sure it's all promoting the same topic at the same time. It's commonly referred to as what's called multi-channel marketing. And it's important because people do not believe just one source of information anymore. They want to see you in Google. They want to see you on partner pages. They want to see you on Facebook, email, LinkedIn, SMS, Twitter, Instagram. They want to see you all over because it shows professionalism and it shows outreach. Again, my name is Lee Goff. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us today. And if I can ever, in any kind of way, serve your agency, please do not hesitate to find me at marketingagencycoach.com or Facebook, Instagram. I'm pretty much on all of them. And now let's get to questions. Okay, so let's see here. Colleen, I can't hear you. You're hey.
Questions. There we go. Just gotta put that mic down.
That helps. I heard that right. That helps. Paul,
Can you hear me now?
does that help?
Yeah,
Paul, does that help Colleen when Colleen pulls that mic down? Paul, does that help her? Paul?
It does, but that's why she should keep it up.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, hold up, Paul. Drop the mic, buddy. Oh, no.
It's getting spicy today.
Oh,
hey, you know I love you, Colleen.
Oh,
can't say the feeling is mutual though. God damn it.
Donald and I had the same joke at the same time. That was good. So anyway, good call, Donald.
Everyone's so funny. Okay, Diane has a question.
Okay.
Diane, just so you know, I put it in the community as well because it's specifically around the executive report, but I'll shout it out here. Hi, I'm new to the community. Hello. Not sure if this is the right place to ask this question, but trying to set up a connection with Facebook for my client. And when resetting his password, which I have to call him each time to get the code, it works once and then it won't work and says an email account doesn't exist for this account. Has anyone else have the same experience? If so, how to fix it? I won't invite my client to access the exec report until I configure it. Any advice is appreciated. So Diane, I put it in the community because I think a lot more people, I'm not saying that anyone in this call can't help you, but a lot more people will see it. And so hopefully you get some feedback. Does anyone have anything right now that they can help Diane out with?
I've had a similar situation in Facebook. I had to hire somebody to come in and help me do it. So
When did that happen? Because Facebook was just down.
Right, that happened on Monday.
Recovering from.
Diane, are you still on the call? Well, maybe she's not here anymore.
I'd be careful trying to force something through over and over, trying different things if it's a glitch on their end.
Yeah.
I've had a problem with Facebook over the last month or so.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be an issue on their side around two-factor authentication. So it was showing on their side that the two-factor authentication was enabled, but when I was looking at it on my side, it was showing that it wasn't. And that was causing all sorts of problems. So it's taken me a month to get that sorted out. So I don't know if that helps, but.
On mine, it boiled down to I had to submit actual business documentation to verify that it was actually, and the two-factor authentic. I think Tim was saying that. I think so. The two-factor and the submitting of the business licenses and things like that to confirm to Facebook that you're legit. And then at that point, everything seemed to clear up after that. So.
Yeah, it took me 3 goes with Facebook
Wow.
support to actually sort out the two-factor authentication.
Dang it. Well,
Jeez.
man, I hope that helps. Best of luck, because I would love to say I can help you, but I don't even know how to operate my Facebook correctly. I don't know. Apparently, I hired at a tech company and they didn't vet me very well. Just kidding.
No kidding.
I think
Okay.
Paul, I think
so-
Paul would agree with that. So
Hey now, okay, you 2 against 1 here, not nice. Someone come
No
to defend
kidding.
me. Malcolm says, this was a great presentation. I think we have heard a similar presentation before, but in my opinion, lead gen is an area that needs to be reinforced again and again and again to agency owners. Great comment.
I want to
agree.
touch on that, Malcolm. I have a situation example for you guys that I was dealing with one of my buddies, not an agency owner, but lead gen is very important in all aspects of life. So he recently got back on the market on the dating scene, right? And you know, there's lots of lead generation that has to go on there. And he's on Tinder and he's swiping, he's going through, and he's getting lots of matches. So a lot of gratification. Okay, I got a match, a potential, right? However, that gratification of getting a lead was deterring him from actually engaging with this lead and going, okay, like, you know, are we a match? Like, are we going to be compatible? Do I want to, like, can I take you for dinner? So I feel like we all have a lot of leads, right? Like there's a lot of potential business that we have. Like it's not very hard to get, but then it's being intentional and actually engaging with those leads that's going to get us somewhere. And I had that sit down with him, you know, Shane, buddy, like great, like, but you have to actually talk to them. You actually have to say like, I'm going to pick you up at 8. We're going to this spot and you're going to have the best time of your life. We're going to grow old together and retire. It's going to be fantastic. But if you don't have that conversation, you're not going to get anywhere. So I love lead generation. I love that idea, Lee, just that idea of engaging, you know, like leads are easy, but you got to actually have that conversation.
Well, most people have the perception that if they get a lead, they're supposed to give them money in the first 30 days. That's the falsehood of this whole thing. Okay. So let me share with you a quick formula. Okay. How many of you raise your hand or throw something in the chat if you've ever heard of guerrilla marketing? Okay. So J. Conrad Levinson is the father of guerrilla marketing. And if you've ever heard of him, you know he's absolutely like sheer brilliance. Okay, I mean, to just give you a few of the brands he created: Allstate Good Hands, Marlboro Man, Jolly Green Giant, Tony Tiger. You know, it's unbelievable. He taught me this formula one night over dinner, having some drinks down in DeBerry, Florida. I was teaching digital marketing because he didn't know anything about digital marketing. So he said it's 92, 4, and 4. Procter & Gamble is who taught him this formula. What that means is this: only 4% of your target audience is actually in what's called buy mode. They're going to be spending money in the next 30 to 60 days on whatever it is, a car, phone, your services. The 4% right behind that buy mode is what's called the in-depth research phase. Okay. That's the ones that are narrowing down to the final 3 to get proposals for in the buy phase. Okay, that typically happens between 90 to 180 days, 3 months to 6 months. Then 6 months out, those are the tire kickers. That's the 92%. That's the one, oh my goodness, I just got married. We're going to have a baby bundle of joy. How much do diapers cost? Or how much does college cost? Or how much does a home in that subdivision up there cost? You know, you're not going to be buying diapers for a year. You know, you're not going to be buying that house for 3 or 4 years. You know, you're not going to buy the minivan for 3 or 4 years. But that doesn't stop you from going out there and kicking tires. I want to know how much this thing cost. Or, you know, if I want to maybe do a vacation to Alaska in 5 years, I know I can't afford it now, but that does not stop you from going to Expedia and seeing how much it costs. Okay. We all do this. This is human nature. This should sound familiar to everyone out there. We get a little inkling in our head. Oh, I'm gonna go find out what that means. In that 92%, okay, that 92% will give up their name and email absolutely free willy. They do not care at all. Well, for almost free, they don't care. The reason that that's important is because when you get that email, the follow-up, to Brett's point, okay, you got to get on the phone and actually ask them out, okay? You got to follow up with them, and you have to imprint your brand through long-term nurturing So when they do get in that in-depth research phase and or are already in the buy mode, they're going to look up and to the left and they're going to recall, hey, Rashida or Dory or Paul or Lloyd or Tim or Brett, I remember that name. So they're going to go to their email. They're going to type in, Steven's name. They're going to type in Donald's name or Renee's name. And they're going to pull up those 4 or 5 emails that they forgot about 4 months ago, and they'll get your phone number and they'll call you. So when you focus on that, somebody just got through, what were the first 2 phases called? So it's going to the front 4 is what's called the buy mode. The second 4 is what's called the in-depth research phase. And the 92%, that's like the tire kickers. It's the kind of, and we all do this. How many of you dreamed about buying a Tesla? Okay. Or buying like a Jeep or a Gladiator or whatever it is. You can't afford it right now. Or at least at the time, oh man, I don't like the new Bronco, but that's another story for another day. Okay. So, okay. All right. And so with that being said, okay, you'll go out there, you'll build that thing on Ford.com, you'll build it on Tesla. You're going to go out there and make it. Oh, it's going to be awesome. But you're not going to buy the damn thing for 2 years. You know that. Okay. Are they you might want to get a Jeep that we can get a real off-road machine to be all good. We can talk about that, but we can talk about that later. So that's a whole different story. So all right. So but anyway, the point being is get them in the 92% because that is when they freely give you their name and their email address. And at that point, you got what's called a customer acquisition there for pennies, as opposed to having to pay thousands to get in front of someone in the buy mode. We have our guard up in the buy mode. We don't want to be sold. We don't like it. Humans don't like it. So we're fighting that back. But in that 92%, we don't care. Come on, yeah, sure, I'll give it to you all day long. That is exactly what Brett is talking about, and it's fundamental to what we're talking about here. Nothing what I'm saying here is rocket science or something you haven't heard before. But when you put it all together and you apply it to follow up, it will feed you and your agency up to 7 figures plus indefinitely. But you got to put in the time and you got to put in the systems.
Carla, you raised your hand.
Hey, yes. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I wanted to ask Lee about getting back to the referral partners. So my agency is my target market is the food and beverage industry, and my intent is to build relationships with restaurants, eateries, and takeouts. And I wanted to ask you, when you talked about building, creating an offer of opportunity. Can you give me some examples? I know you had mentioned a podcast, and that is one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, is establishing a firm relationship with the restaurant manager or front end or whoever is important there that can make the buying decisions, and offering them an opportunity to do want to create a podcast show. And specifically for the restaurant industry or the food and beverage industry, and have them on so that they can talk about some exciting things that are going on in their restaurant or their eateries. And can you pitch in and kind of contribute to
so in
what
most cases,
ideology? Thanks.
Definitely. Yeah, no. In most cases, an offer is not like a monetary or financial offer. And see, that's where I think a lot of people kind of get confused, is they think they have to come with a lot of money to the table to do this. I never pay any of my referral partners. I mean, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Sometimes to get in the door, yeah, I will go out there and pay. So, I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but I have paid for sponsored content, but I did it with the intent to establish a relationship and kind of get that whole thing going, right? But the presentation you saw today, the top 3 lead sources for agencies, this is what I offered to Colleen and Vendasta, right? Colleen, in other words, I didn't offer to pay you, that wasn't it. What they saw is like, hey, you know what? This is great content for our community. And this will help y'all. This will help y'all. This is a win-win. This helps Vendasta. This helps Brett, Colleen, and Jacob. And this helps me. This helps y'all. It's a win-win-win. And so what you're going to find out is the offer is usually more around just being a win-win-win than it is actually making like a financial or time offer. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I can't remember. Carla.
Carla.
Okay,
Carla.
so yeah, and so just have a few presentations ready. Okay, a lot of times they will have like media kits, and it's not a bad idea to do some sponsored content. So do like a banner ad on their website, or they'll do a newsletter mentioned for you, and you pay $500 to get mentioned in the newsletter. What that does is one, gets you in front of their newsletter, which is awesome. Okay, but two, it establishes a relationship with the person in charge of putting the newsletter out. So now you know this person on a first name basis, probably. Hey, when's your next live event? Oh, it's coming up in 2 months. Any opportunities there? I mean, what's going on over there? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, we loved your newsletter article. How about you come over and and now you got a relationship started. It's all about that relationship. So the whole point here is just call them and open up a dialogue and tell them that you're willing to give value to help their community with no strings attached. The only string attached is that it's if someone in their community likes what you're saying, like for example, on this call, if any of you like what I'm saying and think that I can help you with your agency, please come find me. I would be honored. If not, I'll be back again to do the same damn thing, not expecting to get any business, not because I'm here for that, but because I want to add value and help. So that was my offer to Colleen and Jacob and Brett and everybody else, and vice versa. Right. So, and there it is. So
Tim asks, Lee, what is your Facebook group?
Give me a second. I'll post that in the chat log here.
I know you had a couple more questions previously. Oh, I think Renee asked the same thing. What is the agency group name? We had Travis ask, does anyone have automation built for toolkits, free toolkits? Travis,
I have a toolkit that I put into Travis and Inger had her hand up. I want to get to her for a second, but Travis, elaborate on that question.
Yeah, so
okay, there you are.
Go ahead.
Inside the Vendasta platform, there's different marketing campaigns you can run for acquisition, for product adoption, all that kind of stuff. Has anybody created an automation that works quite well to market the free local business online toolkit and that automation that would go through it?
I will show you the structure that you need to have it. I can't answer the question on whether or not they actually have it offered in the platform yet. So, but what I'm going to show you here is in a different platform, but the exact same structure can be done in the Vendasta platform. Okay, so let me show you what I got here. This is real
Travis,
world. Okay, ladies, this is okay. Oh.
Travis, we can also post it in the community as well, and I'll tag the product manager, and then they can help create one for you as well. So
I have what's called an agency success toolkit. Okay. And by the way, if you ask to join the group, you'll get this. Okay. And so that's what this is right here. So agency, I'm running some ads. This is the through play ad. So I've had 2 people in the last, I think 48 hours. These are the 44 that I showed you a while ago, right? So in the presentation. So here's what happens is you have a basic, what's called 1,000 level campaign. In this campaign, you deliver what you promised. Hey, I delivered to give you a Starbucks cup of coffee or whatever the hell it is. You deliver what you promised, what you said you're going to give them, and then hush up. Just deliver the value. Don't do anything else. Then you can get 2 more emails over the course of 7 days that says, hey, I hope you enjoyed your lead magnet. Would you like to schedule an appointment? And you do that twice. Why is that important? Because if they are in the in-depth research and in the buy mode, they're going to want to talk. If they're not, then don't leave them alone. They're going to let you know. They will let you know in the first 5, 6, 7 days. So go out of your way to try to get that appointment. But if they don't schedule that appointment, back off. Okay, so here, let me show you what that looks like. Sorry, wrong one. Here, I got the wrong one. My apologies. Here, give me a second here. And so you hit them 3 times, okay, and then after that, then you put them into what's called a 45-day prospect nurturing. That prospect nurturing is nothing but education. No pitch, no nothing like that. My 45-day education sequence are the top 5 ways I can help agencies. And I write up on each one. Not selling anything, not doing that. It's just educating you on me. Why? Because they confirmed to me in that first week, they're not in the buy mode or in the in-depth research phase, because if they were, they would have scheduled it or reached out to me, because that's what happens whenever you're ready to make a decision. You want to talk to a sales rep. You want to get the deets. You want to get a proposal, right? You can't do that automated. You have to talk to someone. So that's how that happens. You hit them. Okay, you first off define the lead source, deliver what was promised. 3 days. The agency exam gives them the opportunity to take exam and schedule a time with me. 2 days. And then actually, I guess I took it out, but send a third email 4 days later asking them to schedule an appointment. And then from there, you drop them into the 45-day nurturing campaign that educates them on you, because through their actions, they confirmed they're not in the buy mode right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very helpful to build one.
Inger,
Okay, Inger,
let's
yeah,
jump
Inger had a
over to
que- yep.
you. Inger, are you still there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Lee. Excellent, great information. I've been a technology sales consultant in my current position, but I am new to trying to launch a digital marketing agency. So some of these concepts are fairly new, but I would say that coming back from being a salesperson and going through Salesforce, CRM, prospecting, lead, nurturing, all those sort of things, that's not unfamiliar ground. I wanted to just talk about for a second, if you could just dig a little bit more into the top 8 types of referral partners. I know you mentioned trade associations, management companies, podcast, blogger, influencers. I believe you said something about news, virtual events, promoters, vendors, coaches, consultants, and I believe print media companies. If I got that all down right, my speed writing here, that's great. But
I did the same thing.
I wanted to just get, maybe if you could just touch on maybe 1 or 2 really great sources for those top 8 referral partners. You don't have to touch on all 8. We don't have a lot of time for that. And then last question would be, I like the fact that you define the difference between a strategic partnership and a referral partner. And that was really
completely different. Completely different. Everybody gets those confused. They also think affiliates are the same thing. And again, most of the time affiliates, they just go sign up, they get a link and they promote it. They don't even know who they are. All they care about is the money. Not always. Please understand that's not always the case, but that has the tendency to be the norm. So, all right, let me pick out the 2. First and foremost, let me go ahead and say there's 8 because it is very different based upon the target audience. Okay. So for example, one of my students is in the plastic surgery space. Okay. Well, they don't have management companies out there for them, so it's not really going to apply. They do have coaches and consultants for plastic surgeons. They do have trade associations. So for your niche, these 8, probably 5 or 6 will actually apply to your target audience. Okay. Now, the ones that apply the most by far will be trade associations. Okay, so for example, where do dentists go to learn how to run the office and how to market their practice? They go to a coach or a consultant or an association. Where do you go, right? So there's always associations who serve anytime an industry is big enough, there will be an association established. You need to get to know them. Those associations will promote you. They will ask you to speak. They will ask you, put you on expert panels. They will allow you to sponsor content. I mean, there's unbelievable amounts of opportunities. Always start with trade associations, okay? The second one is whenever these trade associations are having their live events, and they all do, while there, you will see other service providers. It's not rocket science. Let's say 20 people sponsored there. There might be 1 or 2 other agencies. That leaves 18 or 19 other people paying money to get in front of the same target audience that don't do what you do. Go shake the hands and kiss the babies. Go talk to these people. Say hi. How are you doing? My name is Lee, or my name is Inger, and I serve the target audience. I have 300 people on my list. How many do you have on yours? Let's do a webinar, combined webinar. We'll share the list. Okay. So there are a million different ways to go about doing this, but by far the most popular ones are going to be right here. Okay. Right. Those 3 and this one: trade associations, live events, service providers, and coaches and consultants. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hopefully that answered your question. So,
Okay, last question, Sean.
Yeah, hi there. And this might be a question that both Lee and and Vendasta might need to jump in and answer. So this has been something I've been struggling with for a while because Lee, you just brought up, I'm a Infusionsoft / Keep certified partner. So I coach my clients on using Keep, and that's a big part of my business.
Have you ever heard of Get You Wired?
I just looked it up when you were talking.
Go watch there's a video on there. Clay Mask and Scott Martineau on there that give testimonials for Get You Wired. Go watch those. They still have
I just saw that. Yeah. So where I've been struggling is that is really an essential part of my business, and I actually have Keep in my Vendasta store for my clients to buy it through there. So naturally, I'm using Keep as my CRM, but I'm using Vendasta for all these other marketing products that I sell. The listing builder and SEO, blah blah blah, all the other stuff, right? And I cannot find a way to integrate the two. So I've got two disparate systems that I've got a store over here on Vendasta, and I've got my CRM over here on Keep, and I can't get them to talk together. And is there anyone that has done that?
There are going to be 3 ways I know of to do that. Okay. And I don't know.
Join the Vendasta CRM.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that.
I don't know who said that anyway. So there are 3 ways that I know of that can be done, but I don't know if they're going to work for you, but I will tell you the 3 ways that I know of. Okay. Obviously one via API. I'm not sure if Vendasta will even give you API access. I'm not sure how that works. So that's again, why I don't know. Okay. That's going to be the more advanced way. 2, it's going to be what's called an HTTP post. Okay. And again, I don't know if Vendasta does that. I'm a Keep guy. I've been using Keep guy forever. But if you can do an HTTP post from Keep back over. And number 3 would be, have you ever heard of like Parsi? Okay, so anytime there's something that you need done in Keep, what you could do is have in Vendasta email like the invoice or the receipt or whatever is happening in the marketplace over there, email it, and then through Parsi can pick that email up and they kind of build it for you to where it takes all that information and put it into Keep and do whatever you want to with it from there. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So look, Jared Morris over at Parsi. Okay. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's a phenomenal guy, and he's probably the one to help with that. So
yeah,
Zapier
Zapier I use, and
okay.
That's the problem is Vendasta right now, that as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, does not have an API with places like Zapier and those kinds of services. And to answer your cough question, Colleen,
I just a cough.
The reason I'm not using the Vendasta CRM is because that same CRM is not available on my client's side of the platform. So therefore, it's not something I can train, set up, teach, all those things for them. So therefore, that's why I use Keep as that platform for my clients. And it's hard to use that for the clients, and I don't use it. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
That's good to know. I can share that feedback with the team as well. Definitely. Okay, Lloyd, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah,
and I got like the last question.
I got 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes, Lloyd. Fire away, and then I gotta run. And my daughter's already sent me a text. Come get me. So anyway, I gotta go. So, Lloyd, nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Hi, good to meet you. Really good presentation. I'll be quick. I posted this question in the chat like 12 minutes ago. Have you found a sweet spot of a certain number? You were talking about doing a remarketing campaigns. Have you found a sweet spot of a certain number of contacts to upload into, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, to do your LinkedIn, to do your remarketing campaigns?
Definitely, as many as bloody possible.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah,
I mean,
as many as possible. Always going to boil down, the more targeted, the better. Okay, and Facebook. Yeah, exactly. Facebook, I think, requires you. I think you got to have at least 200 or 300 for them to even attempt to find anything like a lookalike audience of any sorts like that. So, but I will say, typically the barrier to entry on that's very low. It's typically 200, 300, 400 kind of contact records, kind of thing. And again, you go to a few live events and just get the damn business cards. You can get to that pretty quickly. That's not too terribly difficult. So, but the right answer is as many as possible. Okay, so for example, I am not a huge fan of cold emails, but I am a huge fan of taking taking cold emails and uploading them to Facebook to get a target audience built out. Okay, so if you can find a hyper-focused cold email audience to upload into Facebook and then run these this video through play, what will happen is you'll slowly pick off a lot of that cold email list through the video through play ads and pump them into your Vendasta CRM. Okay, and at that point you begin the automated process. That's the imprinting, and now you're ready to rock and roll. So
Great, thanks a lot.
okay, yeah, man, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this is awesome. Colleen, you got to have me back. I want to do this again. This has been phenomenal. Okay, great participation, everyone. Again, I put my link to the group in there. My email address is lee@leegoff.com. Super hard to remember. Okay, very, very difficult to remember. So if anybody has any questions, I am an open book. I absolutely love what I do. I'm a crackhead for what I do. I do it because I love it, not because I have to do it. I came out pretty good in the selling, the transaction of my agency, and I invested pretty wisely afterwards. I do this because I want to help y'all. So let me do that.
Great, Lee, and that's
Awesome.
exactly
Okay.
what this community is for. So thank you so much, Lee.